Alexander Pope's An Essay on Man. An Essay on Man is a poem published by Alexander Pope in 1733-1734. It was dedicated to Henry St. John, the first Viscount Bolingbroke. Hence the opening line of the poem, "Awake, my son John." It's an effort to rationalize or realize through reason or vindicate. Vindicate means to defend or to justify the ways of God to man. This reminds us with John Milton's claim in the opening lines of Paradise Lost that he will justify the ways of God to men. An Essay on Man popularized optimistic philosophy throughout England and the rest of Europe. What does this mean? It means that this poem calls people to adopt or apply optimism in their life by believing that their conditions are the best because these conditions are God's plans for them, and so they are better than other people. This philosophy was prevalent in Europe during the 17th century. Pope's essay on man and moral epistles or letters were designed or were planned to be the parts of a system of ethics or morals which he wanted to express in poetry. On its publication, An Essay on Man received great admiration throughout Europe. Voltaire called it the most beautiful, the most useful, the most sublime didactic poem ever written in any language. So, we have a didactic poem, which means the poem teaches a moral lesson. The essay or the poem consists of four epistles or four letters. It's concerned with the natural order God has decreed for man. Because man cannot know God's purpose, he cannot complain about his position in the great chain of being, and must accept that whatever is right. What does this mean? Pope believes in the medieval and Renaissance world picture that all the universe is similar to a chain, a great chain, starting from under God's throne, and this chain consists of circles or links. The first link is inhabited by angels. Then we have the circle of man, then animals, then plants, and finally matter. God pulls this chain upward, and matter pulls the chain downward, and this keeps the universe in a balanced state. Every creature in this chain has its own position or place. If any creature tries to change its place, for instance, if man leaves his circle and wants to go up in the chain or downward, a universal knot or a universal chaos will result. So man has to believe that his condition or this divine plan or divine system is the best. It's the right. So whatever is, which means the current state or the status quo, is right. The poem is in a total is written in heroic couplets. What do we mean by heroic couplets? Every two successive lines of verse have the same end rhyme. The meter is iambic pentameter. In iambic pentameter, each line is made up of 10 syllables and 5 feet. A foot is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. The poem starts by a part called the design. The first part of essay on man called the design is written in prose, not verse, and it serves as an introduction to the piece. The speaker, John Milton, addresses the essay to his friend Henry St. John Lord Bolingbroke, who has written on similar subjects. So, Henry Bolingbroke is a writer and a friend to Alexander Pope and is interested in the same subjects, so that Alexander Pope addresses him at the beginning of the poem. The speaker explains the purpose of the essay, which is to write about man in the abstract or man in general, his nature and his state or his condition. He believes it's necessary to know something thoroughly or completely before criticizing it. So Alexander Pope assumes that he must have full knowledge about man before speaking about him. The speaker, or Alexander Pope or the poet, claims that human nature can be reduced to few points of argument. In other words, Alexander Pope is going to summarize or sum up the human being in a number of points throughout his poem. He has tried to avoid extreme opinions in the piece, striking a moderate stance. So Alexander Pope claims that he will not be biased in his argument. He will be a moderate person. The speaker or the poet explains that he has written the essay in verse for two reasons. Firstly, the speaker believes that verse is easier than prose for the reader to understand and remember. Secondly, he contends or believes that it's easier to be concise in verse. By concise, it means to express himself in a shorter manner. The speaker also says that this essay is merely a basic map of humanity. He alludes or refers indirectly or in a subtle way to the fact that his health may prevent him from writing further. And finally, why does Alexander Pope call his poem an essay, not a poem? This is in order to give it an air of seriousness, to tell his reader that he's speaking to them about something serious, not an emotional poem or something about passion. This is the introductory part of the poem, and let's move to epistle 1.